is that in the kingdom, we're not defeated in the losses that we have. Okay. Instead, the losses in life are lessons towards the win. So don't think for a minute that just because we are believers, we're exempt from our losses. Okay. Even God, our creator, experienced losses. Every single day, he's losing souls. He's winning souls, right? But he's losing souls also, souls that he created. Um, let's check out the word in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay, that's a win, right? Whatever he said came to pass. But then when you get to Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, it says, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. That's interesting because in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, everything seemed fine and dandy, but all of a sudden, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, the earth was without form. What could have happened between Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 and verse 2? Well, we get a glimpse of what happened in Ezekiel, and and it's going to take a long time to go through all that, but I'm not going to explain that. I'm going to quote from Revelations. All right. Revelations chapter 12, verses 3 to 4 says, and another sign appeared in heaven. I'm going to share this in the chat. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great fiery red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 diadems on his heads. His tail threw a third, that's the key, a third of the stars of heaven and threw them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to give birth to devour her child as soon as it was born. Child with the capital C, which means Jesus, the baby Jesus, right? Then in Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 to 9, and it says, and war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So they, meaning the devil and his angels, or the demons. So the great dragon was cast out, the serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now, God won, of course, right? He's going to win, and he has won, but it's not without experiencing losses. Okay? He lost a third of his angels that he created. Think about that. A war broke out where? Revelation said a war broke out in heaven. Well, if war breaks out in heaven, how can we expect it not to happen on earth? Yes, just yesterday we heard that, conflict that could really, scale to a war, India and Pakistan, right? Wars come with losses. And there are many examples in the Bible of losses. Adam and Eve, they lost the kingdom of God on earth by sinning. They were cast out of Eden. Abraham lost his son, Ishmael. Moses lost his freedom for 40 years when he was in Midian, and he didn't get to cross into the promised land, even when he had face-to-face relationship with God, right? Or close proximity. Jacob lost his son Joseph for a long time. Joseph lost his freedom for a long time. David lost his freedom and lost his firstborn with Bathsheba. Jesus was even beaten and died on the cross, which was the worst loss in history at that moment. Of course, he had victory after that. The apostles lost all their lives. Christians afterwards have been persecuted. And today, even the mega churches, a lot of mega churches are experiencing losses. Here's the good news in the kingdom, though. God always has a redemption plan, right? With God, there's always wins wired into our lives through the losses we experience. See, what he planned in the beginning is going to come to pass. We see that in the book of Revelations, that God is going to restore his manifest kingdom right here on earth, right? That's what he had planned in the beginning. God always wins at the end. So the losses we experience in life, whether it's family or business, you got to be confident in peace that with the loss, we are closer than ever to the win.